Hey guys, Monochrome here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Genuinely good to have you. I love new subscribers. So, it actually surprised me when I very recently made a new playlist on my channel. Well, I made a couple of them. One for tactical pens and EDC pens, and the other one for multi-tools. So I decided to separate those two items from the EDC videos I normally make to make it easier to find them. And I was very surprised when I realized, wait a minute, I never once made a review video for one of the oldest multi-tools that I've owned throughout my life. And I've owned several of these. It's the Leatherman Micra, and today we're going to take a closer look. That's the box that the Micra comes in. Now, I don't know if Leatherman still puts this multi-tool in blister packs. I know they used to in the past, but yeah, this is the latest one. I bought it recently and it came in a box. Get this out of the way and let's take a closer look at the tool. Everything you see here, this is what you get. Let's start on this side. This is a really good combination tool. It's a bottle opener with a very small eyeglasses / sunglasses screwdriver, if my camera will focus. And it doesn't seem to want to. Okay, there you can get a better look at the tip. And a handful of years back, I was at an outdoor barbecue with close friends. And yeah, no one bothered to bring a bottle opener outside. Well, instead of our hosts going inside to get one, I pulled out the Leatherman Micra I was EDCing at the time, and yeah, just went to town using that bottle opener, opening up everyone's drinks. Please drink responsibly. I was at a gathering where everyone was being responsible. And this little guy, not this particular one, but the Micra I was EDCing at the time, really came in handy. Yep, very handy. And I'll be honest, I've owned a Micra going back more years than I can remember. I mean, this is an absolute modern classic. This was the first small folding multi-tool of its kind with the butterfly handles. Yep, the very first design. That one had stainless steel handles. This one, aluminum black coated handles, and you can get the Micra with the original handle style, or you can get it with aluminum handles in various colors. And yeah, this multi-tool brings back a lot of memories for me. I still remember several years ago, while he was still alive, I gifted my father a forest green handled Leatherman Micra. This was, yeah, quite a few years ago, and he loved it. But knowing my dad, he more than likely gave it away to someone he considered a friend. during one of his frequent visits to the old country. I think there was only one gift from me that he ever actually kept. That was a rather small, advanced radio. But yeah, knowing him, more than likely he gave away that Micra to someone he considered a friend. He considered a lot of people friends who really weren't, but that's a story for a different time. Oh, by the way, if you want your Micra with a forest green handle that looks very tasteful, you can still get it with that handle option even today. But moving on, we have tweezers. And I'll be honest, these are not the best tweezers. They're actually a little bit delicate. They're a little bit too easy to snap off and break. Do they get the job done? Yes, but I would say barely. My experience with these tweezers has not been the best. If you're considering getting a Leatherman Micra because it has tweezers and that's very important to you, I would seriously reconsider. I think you would be better off with either a Victorinox Classic SD, which has much better small tweezers, or maybe one of the slightly bigger Victorinox models with longer tweezers. These, I would say, are adequate. Unfortunately, adequate at best. Yeah, I've definitely used better tweezers than these. Once again, they will get the job done, but you're going to wish you had better tweezers. The next one is the flat, and as you can see, for Phillips. Yep, that's your Phillips driver, and even though it's a flat profile, this tool works incredibly well for Phillips head screws. Now, keep in mind, the Micra does not have any locking blades on it at all. No locking blades, no locking tools, no locking features whatsoever. So keep that in mind. And because it is a flat profile, this Phillips tool really isn't made for heavy duty work or even medium duty work. Light duty, it is fantastic. If there's a tougher job and you don't have a Phillips on you, I guess it could be pressed into service. But again, keep in mind, none of these attachments lock into place, and it is a flat profile. So you are going to be better off with a dedicated Phillips driver, but in a pinch, this one usually does an excellent job overall. And down here, you do have a rotating and folding lanyard hole feature with a split ring already attached. Now, if you want to, you can actually remove that split ring and then just fold the lanyard hole into the handles. I will say it's nice that when you get your Micra, the split ring is already attached. I absolutely hate it when I buy a multi-tool, a small multi-tool, and it's like, here you go, and here's the separate split ring. Have fun attaching something this tiny by yourself. No thanks. Thankfully, on the Micra, that's not a problem. Let's take a look at this side. And you do get a small blade. As for the length, once again, specs in the description box below. Be sure to check that out when the video is over. But you do get a short length blade. It's functional, it's sharp, but there is one small problem with it. Basically, unlike a Victorinox Classic SD, where the non-locking blade is going to be down here in line with the handle when you open it. When you open this one and fold up the handles, you can see it's up here instead. Now, that is a safety feature because, once again, non-locking blade. So if anything happens and this blade comes down, yep, the lower handle is going to prevent that blade from coming down on your finger. But it does create one small problem if you're used to small knives that don't lock into place. And you can see it right there. If you're cutting something, you can't really use the full length of the blade if what you're cutting is on a flat surface underneath it, because this lower handle gets in the way. So really, it's just the forward portion of the blade that you can really use, because as you can see, yep, this gets in the way if you want to use the full length of the knife. But I do consider that to be a minor issue. Just keep in mind that is an issue that you don't face on something like a Victorinox Classic SD. And let's take a look at another tool on this end of the handle, if I can get it out. Sorry guys, I'm not a woman, I don't have long fingernails. And okay, speaking of fingernails, here you have a one-sided fingernail file, quite rough, definitely gets the job done, and a rather aggressive cuticle cleaner. Hey, if you've got a hot date and you're coming from work and your fingernails are dirty, oh, that's going to do an excellent job of helping you clean up before your hot date. So yeah, cuticle cleaner, rather aggressive fingernail file, and just a fingernail file. Nothing on this end except the nail nick. And finally, you have a nice medium, or, well, not medium. I'd say that's a small driver. Also works well, but again, keep in mind, non-locking. I mean, this is not a multi-tool designed for heavy-duty work. If you need something like that, look elsewhere. And then you have the most important feature, the spring-loaded, yes, spring-loaded scissors. Now, there is no pliers, no gripper, no wire cutter feature on this tool. It's not designed for that. Like I said, this was the first of its kind with the butterfly style handles. Nowadays, even from Leatherman, we do have tools this size and a bit smaller that do have pliers up here instead of scissors. But these scissors, they are excellent, absolutely excellent. If you need something bigger than the scissors on your Victorinox Classic SD, but you don't want a lousy pair of scissors, the Micra is a great option for bigger scissors. Yes, you can go with a bigger Swiss Army knife, but it's not going to be as compact as this. So keep that in mind. One interesting thing about the scissors, and again, this is a very long-term review. The Micra really hasn't changed all of these years upon years upon years. The only change I've seen is that now you have aluminum handle color options along with the older traditional stainless steel handles. And the weird thing about the scissors is that on every single Micra I've ever owned, I think I've owned like 4 or 5 down through the years, including this one, is that after a certain amount of use, when these are brand new, what happens is the scissors will bind up on you. I don't know why. It happens. They will bind up on you. You'll have to manually open the handles. And that is a bit annoying. But after a little bit more use, when that happens, they'll go back to working normally, as you see here. And I can't explain why that happens. I just know it does. That's like asking someone from a primitive village, why does the sun always rise in the east? They're not going to be able to tell you why. They just know it does. And same thing here. I can't tell you why these normally excellent scissors bind up after a certain amount of use when you buy these brand new. I just know it happens, and I know that after a bit more use, they go back to working normally without ever binding up again. So, yeah, that's just a weird thing. Oh, there is one more feature, and on the black micarta, I'm sorry, not micarta, on the black aluminum handle option, it is difficult to see, but you do get a ruler feature, centimeter and inches. Yeah, like I said, on the black handle version, it's a little difficult to see or use the ruler. It's definitely a bit better on the stainless steel version. Now, when this thing is closed, on the stainless steel version, where you have the tweezers, it's a bit more open than this. You don't get this oval-shaped area here. And that's really the only other difference. This is an extremely compact, small, scissors-based multi-tool. And I just find it fantastic. Now, the truth of the matter is, the reason why I've been EDCing a Micra off and on for several years is that I'll carry it for a while, maybe not use it for a while, and I'll decide that, well, this is just a little heavy for me. And that's the thing. If this review was completely subjective, I'd tell you guys to skip it and buy a Victorinox Classic SD and just live without the other tools. But no, that wouldn't be the right thing to do. You know, as a content creator, I have to review items based not just on my experience, but based on what I objectively think of them. Objectively speaking, even though the Micra is a bit heavy for me, especially if you put it on a keychain, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to find this tool to be extremely useful. So objectively speaking, I do recommend it. The Leatherman Micra is still a fantastic, very small multi-tool that competes rather well even against more modern butterfly handle opening multi-tools, both from Leatherman and from other companies. This is just, objectively speaking, still an excellent small multi-tool that nowadays really is underrated. So I do recommend it. I mean, the fact that I keep buying these things once every few years should speak for itself. All right, guys, that's it for today. My very long-term review of the Leatherman Micra. I hope you enjoyed it. Guys, please continue to stay safe out there. It's still dangerous. I'll see you soon. Take care.